What's good, everybody? This is your boy Twice.
It's your girl Tay.
Welcome to another episode of Facts and Feelings. Listen, what we gonna do? We gonna run that intro, and we'll be right back. Do us a favor. Make sure y'all share this out on y'all social media platforms.
I wonder if it's facts or feelings that you're feeling. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry stop the bill. I wonder if it's facts or feelings that you're feeling. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry stop the bill. I wonder if it's facts that you feeling. I love the fact you chillin'. These hours fly by when you and I is chillin'. These hours fly by, feel like a couple minutes. Seen you on my timeline. Hold up, wait a minute, Twice and Tay. Yeah, you know they always catching up. Keep us up to date, cause it's hard to keep up through the day.
And we're back. How y'all doing today? Everybody doing well? Tay, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. For those who don't know, that is my wife. We doing this thing live, but look, by the time she get in from work, we don't really have time to chop it up. So I just needed to check on baby and see how she was doing. Listen, today we're going to be talking about Juneteenth, right? Realize that there's a lot of people who don't really know what Juneteenth is. Uh, yeah, so with that being said, we give a fact and a feeling. Today's fact is just that. A lot of people don't know what Juneteenth is. How do we feel about it? Well, we feel that that's unfortunate. So we just want to shed a little light today on knowing what it is, so that you will better understand it if you don't understand it. And for the ones that understand it and still don't get it, well, I'm just going to leave that up to you and however you just live your life. We hope that it click and that you have a better heart towards what Juneteenth really is. Got anything you want to say, Tay?
No, I agree. I think history is history, and I think it's important that we learn about our history as a whole. Whether we're Americans or whatever our nationality is, I think it's important to just learn history. And in that history also comes Black history. And I think that that's very important to learn. I know February is Black History Month, but also Juneteenth is very vital in Black history, just like July 4th is when we celebrate Independence Day. You know, Independence Day for African Americans, once you learn your history, is actually June 19th. So that's where the
Right.
Juneteenth comes from.
Right. And I just want to real quick, I was looking to see who might be on Instagram. And I just want to give out a shout to my man, Quentin Cheatham from Clinton, Mississippi. Hey, Quentin joins every week. I see your name, Quentin. I just want you to know that we see you, man.
Thanks for
Hope that all is going well. So first of all, Juneteenth, that was yesterday, right? And
yeah.
it's a national holiday. So my job gave me off for the first time. Tay, was you off yesterday?
I was off last year too.
Right. Look, well, I wasn't, but I was this year. So we was able to take advantage of it and get out into the community and just participate in some of the festivities. So on today's podcast, we just want to give y'all a little bit about what we did, just to encourage y'all to find out what's going on in y'all communities next year. How did we start off the day yesterday, Tay?
So we started out at the Medgar Evers home. Um,
Yes.
and it was an awesome experience. We've been living here for years and have been trying to get in the home for so long. And just like the guides were informing us, they've been under the ownership of so many different people that it was always hard to get an appointment to get in there. So I'm glad that now it's more open, more available to people to actually get in, get that experience to just walk through the home where Medgar Evers and his family once lived, and just it's just a surreal feeling. So yeah.
Definitely. And it was amazing. I was on a policy council for a Head Start some years ago when our oldest daughter Demaria was in Head Start. And we did a civil rights tour of the city, right? And so we did go by that Medgar Evers home, but like Tay said, it was hard to get in. And even on a planned tour, we weren't able to get to the inside. And we've been on these grounds several times. A couple of years back, I had a family reunion in Natchez, Mississippi, and when my family came back through Jackson, that's one of the places we took them. They was able to stand on the ground, and I was giving them the history that I was given from a neighbor that lived behind Medgar Evers, and
Yeah.
just some information that I got on the tour, man. So, man, it was huge to actually go in yesterday and see the inside of it and see the bullet holes that were still in the home. Because for those who don't know, when Medgar Evers was shot, the bullet that killed him went through him and actually went through the window of the house and hit an inside wall in the living room and ultimately came out in the kitchen. And I believe that little speck that we seen on the refrigerator was where it hit, I guess, before falling to the ground. So, yeah, yesterday was amazing seeing those kids' rooms. And I know I'm talking. So, Tay, I think this is a good part. I wanted to ask if you just share with them how the bed situation setup was with their beds in the home.
So yeah, I also wanted to echo, you mentioned your family reunion a few years back, and it just takes me back even farther because probably about 10 years plus. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so when we hosted my family reunion right here in the city of Jackson, we also tried to get into the Mega Ever.
Right, right,
We could only take them on the grounds and just let them walk around. But yeah, just going back to the beds. So in the room where the children slept, the beds were on the floor, and so there was no bed railing or anything, and that was a safety precaution that was made so that in the event someone was shooting it in the house or something, the children would be low to the floors so that they could avoid or dodge any bullets that may come through the home.
right. And we did notice that Mr. Megger and Merle Evers' bed wasn't on the ground, and they said they really didn't have no knowledge of why. But what they did know is that front window in their bedroom, they had a full visual of the street. So where their beds wasn't on the ground, if something was going on and they heard some noise outside, they could actually see it. And I think, well, I know, Tay, you did ask the question, was that the original furniture in the home? And you said, I think you asked, was, and they said, unfortunately, very little was. But now that they're doing some research now to kind of see what color it was. Hey, the furniture was definitely dated for that time period, but they're trying to find out some original colors that was in the home now so that they can make it look as realistic or as resemblance of back then. And so when we left there, man, we took some pictures. I think it'd be cool. We'll add those to the Facts and Feelings Facebook page just for those who do want to see it. I think I did more video, but we'll figure out a way to get that on there here within the next day or two. And we left there, man, and we traveled down to downtown Jackson, Mississippi to the Civil Rights Museum. And we had a time there as well, Hunte.
Yeah, we did. It was awesome. I think it was just amazing and just I think just a great experience to get out, which we got out last year and everything, and we tried to take part in Juneteenth festivities, but we were just very intentional on making sure that we moved around this year, and so being there and seeing people from different nationalities, different ethnic backgrounds, and everything that were really, really taking part in the whole celebration of Juneteenth
Right.
is so awesome, and it was amazing. So and everybody was smiles and interacting really well with each other. I love that the Civil Rights Museum opened up free of charge to allow people to come in,
Huge.
really get that rich history. And one big thing that I will say about Juneteenth or any other fact in history, one of the things that the museum had up, a sign that they had up, was that they were cautioning people that some of the things that you may see in the museum, it may not always be the most prettiest things to see. And some of it, may kind of be may cause some emotions to kind of flare up when seeing it, but it's important because to omit certain things that happen in history is to omit history, right? And so
Right.
And like we said, Juneteenth is a part of history. So I'm just so glad that it's being acknowledged as a federal holiday now. And, there's so many other states and cities that's being intentional about having celebrations and festivals and parades and different things of that nature. But the Civil Rights Museum is definitely one that you want to try to get down, to see.
Right. And I agree in that too. I was going to suggest that same thing. And what kind of just rung in my mind is where I suggest that. Because, like, even we were in there yesterday, I seen somebody kind of smiling and kind of looking like they had seen somebody that they hadn't seen in a while. And when I realized what it was, somebody had recognized that Dr. Umar Johnson was in the building and they were trying to get him to take a picture with their mom. So, what I was going to say, maybe y'all should come here one year if you're not from Mississippi and just check it out. It almost hit me. And I do suggest that because we have these two super nice museums here in Tay said they opened them up free of charge yesterday, right? So y'all pull up if y'all can. But right when I was going to say that, Tay, here's something for our family. I wonder what they do in Galveston.
Yeah.
Like, and we're going to get into that in a second. But yeah, I wonder what they do in Galveston, right?
Yeah, right.
I can only imagine that there's some nice things going on there because as we'll get into it in a minute, y'all know why we're saying that in a minute. Is there anything else we want to talk about, Tay, before we jump into that educational portion of this podcast?
I think, just in giving even more, information before going too deep into it, just about Juneteenth, you know, one of the things that they did at the Medgar Evers home was they had a little talk with us before going in, and they wanted to know, like, what did you, how do you define freedom? You
Mm-hmm.
know, and how, I can't remember what was the other question, like, how
How
can
do we
you,
express it? Pretty much, yeah. What are we doing to express our freedom and things of that nature?
and how to continue, you
Right,
know, the journey towards freedom. So
right,
yeah. So I just thought
right,
that that was good, and it's definitely a question to put on your mind and really think about that.
right. And
Yeah.
Tay, when they asked that question, our baby girl Denaya spoke. Well, everybody spoke with me. Denaya spoke, Demaria spoke, and Tay spoke. And Tay spoke. They all spoke well, but Tay really has a passion for this history. So does our baby girl Denaya. And they, what I'm trying to get to is that Tay spoke so well. Somebody ended up asking her at the end, was she an educator? They pretty much want to know was this her lane because she spoke so well. And I think this is something I said that to say this. This is something that we need to know. Like, what are we doing with our freedom? Like
Hmm.
we wasn't always free. We didn't always have the liberty to move around as we do now. So really, what are we doing with that freedom? You know what I'm saying? Think about that and think about ways to acknowledge and express it. And one of the things that I think we've done, what I know that we've done is a couple of years back after George Floyd had been killed here in the city, my family and two other families got together, Ramondo James and his family and Marion Robinson here in the city of Clinton, Mississippi, and we did a unity and peace rally. So let's be rally. So let's be intentional on being grateful and sharing what freedom looks like to other people. Because just like we finna go over these questions, everybody don't really know. They may know they're free, but everybody don't know all of the education about it. So we're going to provide some education about Juneteenth. You want me to jump on the first one, Tay?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. As Tay has pretty much mentioned, we've been talking about Juneteenth, right? So what is Juneteenth? June 19th, 1865, the military had to show up in Galveston, Texas. I think I just gave y'all the answer, but what I was going to say, they had to show up in what city, for those who don't know, and let those last slaves know that they were actually free. And that was in Galveston, Texas. Uh, Another question that we can go over real quick is, like I said, that was June 19th, 1865. But also, okay, Tay popped out, but here she comes right back. Let me get my good thing back on stage. You want to grab the next question, or you want me to go ahead? I know you just came back. All right. Another point that we want to give you all that, okay, so on June 19th, 1865, the last slaves found out they was free. Well, how long ago was that after slavery was supposed to be abolished anyway? About 3 years, right? Because in January, I think 1960, I think it's 1963, maybe
Yeah. Yeah.
1963, right? President Lincoln had abolished slavery, and I think you all might know this question, but what legal order was that? It was the Emancipation Proclamation, right? So even after the Emancipation Proclamation, where slavery was supposed to be abolished, it took about 3 years before all slaves really knew that they was free. And going back to that first question, where did it happen? I hear y'all out there, Galveston, Texas. I hear y'all. I hear y'all, but I don't hear you. But I know we just told you. So I know y'all know it. Okay, Tay, you want to grab the next one?
Sure. So, although we know that President Lincoln, he came up with the Emancipation Proclamation, which was supposed to free slaves and everything. However, um, the executive order that he put out, it really more so did away with slavery for those states that were rebelling, against the Union. And so, but those states that were in the Union didn't really they didn't really follow that order. So those slaves were still, in captive and still in slavery up until 1865. And so, do anybody know like which states that may have been that were still in slavery and didn't know that they were free? Yes, y'all are right. It was Delaware and Kentucky. And also, we learned that Maryland was actually a part of that as well. We kind of learned that a little bit in our walk on yesterday through the Civil Rights Museum. So, technically, when President Lincoln put out that executive order to abolish slavery, those states that were rebelling against the union, it was kind of one of those things where, yeah, I can, tell you that slavery is abolished. You no longer, you're no longer a slave. But if I am not in authority over the states that I'm telling you you're free in, then how can I really make that ruling? You know what I'm saying? How can I really push that law and that rule to tell somebody to free you? It's kind of like going to somebody's house and telling them, you can let your children go here or go there. Let them go here, and you're telling them no, they can't because I run this house. And so that was kind of the situation with the Emancipation Proclamation. They wasn't free because those states were not under his leadership because they were rebelling against the state against the union. So
Right. Right. And I'll move on. We're gonna give y'all another question. I love how y'all answered that for Tay and said Delaware and Kentucky. We know y'all knew it. We know y'all knew it. The next one I want to say is we already know that the executive order that abolished slavery was the Emancipation Proclamation, right? But here's another question that we think we just want y'all to know. We know that it'll be good to know which constitutional amendment officially abolished slavery across the United States. It was a constitutional amendment. So if I had to throw it out there to you and say, was it the 4th? Was it the 9th? Was it the 13th? Or was it the 16th? What would y'all say? Hey, we can hear y'all. Did you hear them, Ty? They got
I,
it right. The
yep.
13th Amendment, absolutely correct. So moving forward, what amendment abolished slavery? Y'all let people know that y'all know it was the 13th Amendment.
That's right. Yep. On December 6th,
1865.
yeah, yeah.
All right, got another point?
Yes, so this one can be a kind of a trick question, but I will say, there was an approximate number of slaves that were estimated to be in the United States in the early 1860s before slavery was outlawed. How many do y'all think it may have been? It's up in the millions.
Yeah, I'm glad you put that out there.
I can't believe they even knew this one, but you're right. It was 3.9 million slaves.
Almost 4 million, and that's estimated. So
Yeah.
with estimation, we pretty much can just guess or know that it was probably more slaves than what was known about, right? So we could really say probably upwards of 4 million, but like Tay said, 3.9 million. That is a lot of slaves, y'all. A whole lot of slaves. So the next point we want y'all to get, this is the sixth point. And I know we didn't gave y'all a little information, so we know that y'all might be able to guess this one. But it's which state was the first to recognize Juneteenth as a holiday? Out of all the states, what you say? Man, they got it right. I mean, it was a dead giveaway since it was Galveston, Texas, where it happened. You are absolutely correct. You would think that it would be Texas, and you are right. It was Texas that was the first state to recognize Juneteenth as a holiday. So let's give it up for Texas. Let's give it up for Texas. Way to go, Texas.
Yes, that's right,
Hey,
G.
wait, yeah, Pastor Jay got it. Pastor Jay on and he said it. Look, we could hear you before we heard you, bro.
Right.
All right. Go
So
ahead, say.
the next question, I think y'all already know this one, so I kind of want to skip this one. But is Juneteenth a federal holiday? Yes, I knew y'all know it. It
Right.
is. It is a federally recognized holiday. That's one of the first things that we kind of talked about when we first got on. So it is a federally recognized holiday. And we know all jobs, don't give everybody that all federal holidays off. Sometimes you only get Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's Day. Um, Sometimes some people don't get that depending on the field of work that you're in. But Juneteenth is a federal holiday, and it was actually became a federal holiday on June 17th, 2021, when President Joe Biden signed a bill in observance of Juneteenth as a national independence day. So,
All right. Question 8. We want to give y'all knowledge. We're gonna call it knowledge nuggets. We're gonna give y'all knowledge nugget 8. All right. A revised red, white, and blue flag honoring Juneteenth was introduced in 2000. What symbol is at the center of that flag? Is it a crescent moon, a diamond, an octagon, or a star? Oh man, you said it before I could even get it out. Right. It was a star. It was a star. Well, it is a star. I'm sorry. So, what symbol is at the center of that red, white, and blue flag honoring Juneteenth? It's a red, white, and blue flag with a star. Way to go.
all
My
right.
mother in love got that one. A star.
Yes. And if you were to break that flag down, there's so much symbolism in the flag.
Right.
The star, because of Texas being the Lone Star State, that's what that star represents. And then it's outlined in another star, and that star is symbolic as well. And then the red, white, and blue, of course, that represents the American flag, America, with the red, white, and blue, and they later added the date of June 19th, 1865. So if you ever see those flags flying in state and federal buildings, that's what that is. It's to commemorate Juneteenth. And so I think is this the last question? Or maybe we
I
got.
think it's maybe two more.
All right. So what's another name often used to commemorate Juneteenth? What name have you heard people utilize when we're talking about Juneteenth? There's actually a few different names, and we named one a few minutes ago,
Mhm.
which was when President Biden commemorated the day as a national holiday, which was Independence Day. Y'all knew that one. Okay, cool. Yes, Freedom Day.
Freedom Day.
A lot of people say Freedom Day, and sometimes, you see some people have the shirts on that say, what is it that it say? Um, kind of free and, things of that nature. And that's because we know that even after the Emancipation Proclamation, and then even after, 2.5 years later, when Texas got word that slaves had been freed almost 3 years prior, we know that people were still being enslaved. So that's why you kind of see people saying, having on the shirts that say free-ish and kind of free. It's because of those things.
Right. All right, here's the 10th and final knowledge nugget or question I would say. Which of the following former U.S. presidents did not commemorate Juneteenth with either a presidential proclamation or with either a presidential proclamation or remark during their administration? I'm gonna give y'all a few to choose from. See what y'all can think of. Was it President Obama, President Trump, President Bush, President Clinton? Which one of those did not get it? Did not do that? You are absolutely correct. Nail one of them. Each and every one of them either gave a presidential proclamation or a remark during their administration. So I think that's huge. That's one thing that I can say as a country, we stood united on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody did recognize it. That's been a president. So I do think that that is huge. For me, Juneteenth, I really wanted to learn more about it for myself, and I really wanted to get knowledge out there. When it comes to these holidays or certain recognition for certain things in social media, it can get a little ugly. And I seen like a local news station in our city where they posted it, and some of the comments you read are just absurd. And I kind of made a post today on my social media. I think for anybody who knows what Juneteenth is and you don't understand why it's a celebration, then I really think maybe you need to check your heart. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a day that all of mankind, all human beings were totally, so to speak, gain their freedom, right? So I think that's something to be celebrated. I mean, we celebrate when people are incarcerated and they come home. We celebrate all kinds of stuff. First of all, national holidays. It's something that I just, and not downplaying those, but it's because it was somebody's birthday, right? And things of that nature. President's Day is George Washington's birthday. So we can celebrate his birthday, but we can't celebrate freedom for all of mankind. As far as slavery is considered. So let's really think about things before we judge and say that they're not needed or they're not necessary.
And I think sometimes it's a lack of knowledge.
Mhm.
Sometimes people fail to educate themselves,
Right.
and they allow others, um, I guess, others' perspectives and others' opinions to formulate fact for them. And that's why it's so important to be able to decipher between what's a fact and what's a feeling,
Mhm.
because I think that's where we get this miscommunication and where we get those negative comments that people make under posts like that. Even with just Black History Month and everything, they don't look at the facts, they just come out with their feelings. And that's
Right.
why I think it's so important when we start our podcast. Although you're giving our feelings, we always want to state what the fact is,
Right.
because feelings are just that. That's your individual, your personal feelings. But let's talk about the facts. And the fact of the matter is, Black folks were enslaved, and they were brought over to a country that they didn't voluntarily, try to come into, but they were brought over, and enslaved. And some people, after getting here, they began to build this country, with their blood, sweat, and tears. And by, building this country, they became a part of this country. So that's where the African American, portion comes in at, because those Africans became Americans, and they're just as American as anybody else in the United States. And so I think it's so important to acknowledge and celebrate when they were officially um, free to be an American and free to be able to have those same freedoms and liberties as everybody else. And although we know that we're still fighting against social injustices and things of that nature that I think will never go away. Although we pray that, more hearts will be changed and we can minimize the number of social injustices and racism across our great country. We know that that's a fight that will continue to be a fight. And so I just think that it's important to make sure that you don't allow other people to dictate how you feel about national holidays that are celebrating the freedom of others that were enslaved. So
Right.
again, and like he said, if you have a problem with that, then you definitely need to check your heart thermometer. You know,
Right.
so yeah, I think it's an awesome thing. I think everybody should get out and celebrate and participate and just engage in the festivities because there are still festivities going on even throughout the weekend. So check for festivities in your area, get involved, get connected, learn your history so that you better understand it. So when people that don't know history and lack that knowledge come to you with negativity and negative insight, you can correct that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just add to that, like Tay said, there are things still going on. If you're here in the metropolitan Jackson area in Jackson, Mississippi, there are some events going on Saturday. I will put that on our facts and feelings page. But wherever you are, whatever state you're in, check, because while some people did actually do events yesterday to celebrate, there are some organizations and some people that put together events on Saturday because it's a full day where most people will not be at work. And like even me and Tay and our daughter saying yesterday that it kind of got thicker after 5 o'clock when we was at the museum and we had to realize everybody wasn't off work. So more people started pouring in. So some people probably weren't able to for whatever reason when they got out of work, they had obligations. So I expect those people will be out there Saturday. So get on Facebook, call your Chamber of Commerce, call whoever it is you need to call within your area and see what Juneteenth celebrations might be going on this very weekend in your area.
Yes. Get out there, get connected, and get out there and celebrate
Yeah.
Juneteenth.
Yeah, we had a blast. There was so much going on in the museum. We were able to make our own Juneteenth Jubilee buttons, starting
Yeah.
with cutting the paper out, putting the buttons in the machine, pressing them, and putting them on. We got stickers at the Mega Ever House, which was the first sentence of a book that somebody wrote a year after Medgar Evers was assassinated. Our daughter, we did a scavenger hunt in the museum, and at the end, we all got a little bag with some treats and a Juneteenth pencil. Our daughter got a coupon from for an Italian ice. I mean, we just had a really, really, really good time.
Line dancing. I love
Yeah,
line.
line dance. Yeah, line dance. I mean, it was a whole party up in that thing. They like Tay line dance. We went to the other side to complete the scavenger hunt. Watched the Emmett Till presentation. Went back, got our Italian icy, ready to go, and they was still line dancing. It was dope.
It was really nice. A local band played. There was some
Yeah,
African dances going on. It was just so nice, and so many people again with from different nationalities and backgrounds
right,
there, and everybody was just enjoying everybody and enjoying
right,
the celebration. So get out there, learn your history, and just understand what Juneteenth is. Understand why there is a need to celebrate. Understand
mhm,
what freedom is, and appreciate your freedom.
right,
Utilize it. Use your voice to go out and just educate people. You don't have to get into arguments and debates about stuff. Just spit the
right.
facts. Be done with it.
That's it. That's it. And I mean, Tay really ended that well. And I hate to add this in there, but I just feel led. Uh, we really encourage you to see what's in your community. And I just want to say this because yesterday we bumped into people that we hadn't seen in a while. So it was just seeing everybody celebrating was one thing, but seeing people that we hadn't seen in a while. And I just wanted to share this story for my wife. A lady walked up to her and asked her, was she from Greenville, Mississippi, right? And that's where she grew up at. And long story short, this lady told Tay, tell your own story, baby. I just didn't want you to leave it out.
She just asked me, was I from Greenville? And I told her I was. And she told me that she remembered me. And she told me her mom's name, which was Coach Williams at a junior high school I attended, Coleman Junior High. She actually was the girls' basketball coach. And at that time, I was a cheerleader for basketball. And she told me that I looked the same. She was actually a teacher during that time herself, and she was like, "Your face still looks the same. You haven't aged a bit." A bit.
Right.
I was like, "Oh my god!" And she asked
Right.
my name, and she was like, "Yep, that's definitely you." So
That's it.
that was a
Yeah.
blessing to even have somebody from my hometown in the museum at that time that I didn't even recognize, but she recognized me. And it's also
Right.
good to be recognized not for something negative that you did when you were 12, 13 years old, but just from being, a good student during that time. So that was
Right.
amazing. Yeah.
Right. So moral of the story, y'all, I'm keeping her young. Well, I think it's safe to say this is another wrap of a Facts and Feelings podcast. This has been episode 17. Thank y'all for sticking with us, man. It's been good, and we know it's gonna get greater later.
Yeah. We appreciate y'all.
Definitely. So again, if you haven't already shared this out, go on and share it out for us. Share it out for us to your social medias and things of that nature. And we appreciate you. And this has been another episode, as I said. Holla at y'all later.
I wonder if it's facts or feelings that you're feeling. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry stop the bill. I wonder if it's facts or feelings that you're feeling. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry stop the bill. I wonder if it's facts that you feeling. I love the fact you chillin'. These hours fly by when you and I is chillin'. These hours fly by, feel like a couple minutes. Seen you on my timeline. Hold up.